What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Dredd. A big thanks to my buddy Blacktastic Media for joining me here for another collab. It's been quite some time. I'm not gonna lie, I started getting a little bit bogged down with collabs. I had way too many that I had committed to for other people's channels and way too many that I had committed to for my channel, on top of trying to do various other videos that I just kind of wanted to do in the moment. Maybe a new release was coming out, an early screener, whatever the case may be. So I had to slow down on asking people, but I started slowly asking a couple folks to start joining me again on the channel to talk about some movies. So you guys will start to see some collabs rolling out once again, but there will be that healthy balance of stuff with collabs and stuff of just me. But for now, let's talk about Dredd, a movie that came out in 2012, and I saw it on Netflix years ago. I can't even remember how long after its initial release that I actually saw it. I wish I remembered what was the year that I saw this movie for the very first time, but man, I love this movie. I want to guess it was somewhere within the 2013 to 2015 range, if I'm not mistaken, but overall, this is a badass movie. I think this is just one of the coolest comic book adaptations that's ever graced the screen, and yeah, it's just something I really thoroughly enjoy. Beyond that, you also have that original film with Sylvester Stallone, which isn't as good as this one, but you know, it has that nostalgic kind of cheesy, you know, almost like guilty pleasure vibe for me. But yeah, this for me is just a top-notch action movie. It's often compared to The Raid, which I can definitely see those comparisons, and I definitely look forward to revisiting The Raid after revisiting this one. This was just something I kind of passed along on Hulu. I usually kind of have a planned scheduling in a way of what I'm going to watch. Like if I know I have collabs to do for the week, or if I know I have screeners to do for the week, I'm going home from work or wherever I am with kind of purpose in mind on what I'm going to be watching for the evening. But this was one of those rare occasions that I don't really have as much anymore, where I just stumbled upon Hulu having Dredd, and I was like, oh man, let's watch this. My fiance and my buddy, the Big Rob Theory, were here. They have never seen it before, and so I was like, we have to see this movie. You guys have to check this out. So we sat down and we watched it, and man, it just still holds up. So what is this movie all about? Well, Dredd is a judge, and in this world, it's kind of like a futuristic, not post-apocalyptic, but very, you know, kind of run-down civilization, sci-fi world. Very, very much like a Blade Runner kind of world. Maybe not a sci-fi, but very similar. And in this world, you have these judges. And the judges are literally judge, jury, and executioner. They are like the, you know, ultimate police, which is, you know, I guess when you really think about it, not necessarily the greatest kind of thing, especially in this world. I can't see people gunning for a remake of this today, though I would love to see it personally. I'm sure there are people who would love to see a remake or a sequel, which I think this movie definitely deserves. But yeah, you have this character who's like this ultimate police force in this world, where you have these cops that are the judge, juries, and executioners. They have these badass weapons that can do all kinds of different blasts and different things like that. And ultimately, is just a really cool premise. So in this movie, you have Judge Dredd, played by Karl Urban, who has now kind of been assigned a rookie that has to come along with him. This rookie is played by Olivia Thirlby, and she is very nice on the eyes. I'll just say that. Very nice on the eyes. But yeah, so she plays this rookie, and she's a very special individual. All the judges end up using helmets in this film and in this franchise, but she can't. And the reason is because she's a mutant, which is kind of looked down upon in this world, but her mutant ability is the ability to read people's minds. So obviously as a judge, she's able to do a lot with that. She can also infiltrate people's minds and kind of fuck with them. And I think that's really, really cool. I think the way they handle it and they kind of portray it in this film is done really solid. And I think her performance throughout the course of the film is great. Her chemistry between her and Karl Urban is just top notch. And I really thoroughly enjoyed the whole feel and vibe. You also have Lena Heady, I believe is how you pronounce her name, in here as the villain. I know she's really popular from Game of Thrones, but I've never seen that. I know, everybody tells me I should. But yeah, I've recognized this actress from a few things, but that's where I know she's the most popular from. But yeah, this was probably one of the earlier things that I ever saw her in that I can remember, and she just plays a really vile, just nasty villain. I really enjoy her in this film, and I think she does a really good job playing that villain. So the whole premise of this film, before I pass it off to Blacktastic, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that himself, is that you have this judge judge with this rookie. They go to kind of just check out this area. They end up getting trapped into this building because they literally have this villain who is trying to keep them inside this building. And in this futuristic world, it kind of locks down the buildings where nobody can come in or out. They get trapped inside the building, and they essentially have to fight their way up this, skyscraper in a lot of ways, up to the very top floor where the apartments are up there. It's actually an apartment building, I should say, as well, where there's people that are living there that are just trying to live a normal life, people with kids, families. And pretty much this villain tells everybody in there, hey, if you can kill the judge, I will give you blah, blah, blah amount of money. And so pretty much everybody, including the villains and her henchmen and everybody that's just kind of there that wants to make a buck, just pulls out their guns and decides to hunt both judges that are inside the building. Pretty much this whole movie is a really badass action sequence in a lot of ways, with really great nuance, really great small moments of performance and just character moments as these characters are making their way up the top of this building to get to our big bad and just taking motherfuckers out left and right. It's bloody, it's gory, it's gritty, and I think it's fucking badass. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hear what Blacktastic Media had to say about this.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, man, it's your boy teaming up with my main man, Anthony A. Perez, for a throwback, Dredd. I remember this came back out in the day in September. Now, I go back even further for the original Judge Dredd, starring Sylvester Stallone. I went opening day with the homies, and yeah, man, that movie was a piece of crap. Still, I like certain parts. It's a guilty pleasure, but, I didn't know nothing about the character until that movie came out, and I guess it wasn't done too well. Well, this movie kind of flew under the radar, Dredd, starring Carl Urban, and, wait. Carl Urban, let me think. Yes, he played Dr. Bones McCoy in the latest Star Trek movies. Oh my God, did I just make a Star Trek reference on Anthony A. Perez's channel? I believe I did. Yeah, Carl Urban plays Dredd in this new rendition of it. And the cool thing about it, he wasn't too big-headed as an actor. He kept his helmet on during the whole movie, which something Dredd would do. Sylvester Stallone said, no, brother, I'm showing my face, and you're going to give me some blue eyes. Fuck that. And so that was cool. And then you had Olivia Thirlby. She played the new recruit, and this chick was a psychic, which was kind of interesting. Lena Heady. And man, this woman was a bitch. Not just a bitch, a dirty one. She was a nasty, filthy, degradable motherfucker, man. I'm being nice. She was a nasty ass villain. Well, you usually have the future world. The world is just in disgrace and turmoil. And you have cities that are huge in this movie. And everything takes place in this one city, which is jacked up. And Lena, she's this boss that sells these drugs that if you take them, everything slows down. It's a trip. Some kind of mind-blowing drug. And she owns and took over this gigantic skyscraper of a building. So she locks the doors. What goes on in there, goes on in there. Then you got like this League of Justice building where all the judges hang out. And these guys, hey, what they say goes. Judge, jury, executioner. These guys don't play. So they're trying to break into this building to take down the villain and stop these drugs from being, distributed to all these people, right? And this is when the action finally picks up. When they're marching into this building, all these outside people are trying to jack up these judges and fight them. And you see some of these judges have different, let's just say, agendas, which was kind of cool to see, man. Now, Dredd, man, he's strictly by the book, and he is fair to the bitter end. But this movie has an orgy of bullets flying all over the place, man. And for a lower budget movie, it's pretty damn entertaining and pretty damn graphic. I was surprised. And Carl Urban, he embraces and embodies Dredd. He really does the voice thing good and everything, and I really liked it. And when slow motion is used and utilized very well in this movie, it actually serves a purpose. It's not just stylistic. It's done as a purpose because of these drugs these people are taking. And they actually show the slow motion from a POV point of view, which is really, really cool. Overall, man, I really like this film. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't see it in theaters. I caught it on TV years ago on DirecTV because I heard word of mouth about it. And I'm like, what? They made another one? I didn't even know, man. But pleasantly surprised seeing it at home with some popcorn shoved in my mouth with some peanut M&Ms and some Slurpees. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Dredd. Yeah, good time at home. Hey, if you got a nice sound system and everything, you will enjoy yourself. I'm going to hand it over to my man Perez. Bring it home, brother. Until next time.
A big thanks to my buddy Blacktastic for joining me for another video. Always a pleasure to have you on, man. It's been way too long, and I'm glad you enjoy this film as well. Yeah, this is a great one. I know I was cursing a little bit in the beginning part, a little bit more than usual than I would in these reviews, but ultimately, I just feel like that's the best way to, kind of talk about this movie. If I was to, put one of those quotes on a DVD box, a Blu-ray box, a poster, it would be, this movie is fucking badass. And that's how I feel about this movie. This, for me, is the perfect just popcorn film. Are you coming here for a deep, rich narrative with a 3-act structure that has this great, emotional resonance at the end of the movie? No, that's not what this is all about. You're not going to walk out of this with a lesson learned. But if you're a big fan of action, if you're a big fan of sci-fi and really strong performers that can do their action as well as give really great performances amidst very tense situations, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie. It's a very straight to the point action movie in real time kind of movie, and I think it's badass. Another thing that Blacktastic mentioned that I definitely want to touch on is Slo-Mo, which I think is such a cool and crazy and almost scary thing about this movie. In this world, there is this drug called Slo-Mo, and it's like literally just an inhaler. You take it, and it just puts your mind into a complete moment of slow motion. Everything you see, hear, and feel is slow motion, and there's a psychedelic look to the way that those moments are done. And yeah, just rewatching this on my 4K TV, which is the first time I've ever seen the film in such high quality, it just looks so crisp in those moments, and the cinematography that's used in those moments is just really, really great. So Slo-Mo is definitely a really cool feature to this movie, or not, I don't know if feature is the way to say, but a really cool element to this movie. I really think that it's a really badass thing that they kind of added, and there's definitely some moments where you really feel for some people, like somebody who was skinned alive and thrown off of a balcony after having been given this slow-mo, so they have to feel it in slow motion. And when they show what these characters are seeing, any character that's in slow-mo at any point in the movie is really slow motion, which is just crazy to think about because it's happening so fast, right? But for them, it's just so slow, especially some of those sequences where somebody's on slow-mo and then they're getting shot because they didn't know that the judge was coming, and they end up getting destroyed, and we're seeing it all in slow motion, and people's, jaws are getting blown off, and their heads getting blown off, and, chests are being blown open. It's a really, really cool movie, and I think if you're really big into big, bloody, over-the-top action, I think that this is a very well-executed one with some great performances. And something I want to touch on that Blacktastic said that I definitely agree with is I think it's so awesome that Carl Urban kept his helmet on for the whole movie. A lot of stars would have been like, no, I want people to see my face, I want people to see my eyes, and you really only see this section of him the entire movie, and he commits, the kind of grizzled mouth, the grizzled voice. I think he does a great job of playing this character, and the fact that because it didn't do well in theaters, that it didn't get a sequel is just a travesty to me. A lot of times that happens with studios, and I just don't get it, because for me, it's like these movies find an audience later on. That's how we gain cult classics that get huge viewings at theaters when they come back for anniversary showings, So for me, it's like, I know there's an audience for this film. I've seen it online, and it's just such a shame that we haven't gotten a sequel. And I know that Carl Urban has also said he wants to. So hopefully one day we do. But that's going to wrap up my thoughts here on this movie. So a big thanks to you guys for watching. A big thanks to Blacktastic for joining me. You guys can find the link to his channel down below in the description box. Please go give him some love. Let him know I sent you. But for now, I will go ahead and just say goodbye. Please hit that like button. It helps the channel out. And please let me know down below, do you like this movie? Do you want to see a sequel as well? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.